Hello everyone. In this video we will see the select or retrieve data from MySQL database. So coming to our IDE, create a new file here and save it as a fetch.php. Now the basic syntax of PHP. First thing we have to do here, we have to make connection with database. So I will use this include here because I have already a file connect.php in which I have made a connection with database. So I will include that very file in my in this file. So connect.php. Now what we have to do, we have simply create a variable here and SQL underscore query. Actually we have to write a query here. So query will be select star from, then table name is register. So this will be the query. Now the next thing is I will write some comments here. Query. Now the next thing is we have to execute query. Now we will create a variable here. Result, it will be equal to connection, then query, and then we have to provide this query as a parameter here. Now I will explain it to you what I am doing here. I am first I have made a query here, select star from register. Actually in PHP database I have a table register, and in that table there is some data that star means here everything will be selected, all the rows will be selected in will be selected from the table. Now the next step is execute SQL query. So what I am doing, I am actually using this connection object which is in this, which I have made in this file connect.php, and then on that object I am calling the function query and providing a parameter here and the query which I made here, SQL query. Now it will return me that some data. That data will be stored in this res variable. So this was all about what we have written here. Now the next thing is we will check. What we have to check, we have to check if the returned data which is stored in res variable, if there are some rows or not. If the number of rows is 0, then it means no data has been retrieved from the database. If the number of rows is greater than 0, then it means some data has been retrieved from the database. So what we have to do, we have simply write it like this. This is the object oriented syntax. Here we have this num rows first. What we will do, we will simply print this echo dot dollar of num underscore rows. So let us save the file. Oh, sorry. Let us save this file and come to browser and see. Name of the file. What is the name of the file? Fetch.php. So undefined property MySQLi number rows. So let me check it. Result connection dot query. This is okay. And then this query, okay. Now echo there is a connection variable. Actually, sorry, what we have used here, this result variable. That's why it was showing error. Now refreshing this page, we will see 1 is returned. It means inside in the database we have only one result, one row. That row is fetched. That is why it is displaying 1 here. Now what we will do, we will simply copy this URL from here and paste it here. Registration.php. We will insert some dummy data here. s@g.c and phone number is should. Now username will be something and let me SSS and password will be 1111 confirm password. Now record inserted successfully. Now we will, you can see the 2 here. This was a previous video in which we made this registration form and inserted data in database. Now in this video we are going to retrieve data from database. So up to this we have seen that this res variable contains 2 rows. Now we will display those rows on the screen using HTML table. Let me give a break here. Now the number of rows are. Now to display a data which is stored in res variable which was fetched from the database, now what do we have to do? We will make a table here, a dynamic table in PHP and display data in that very table. So what we have to do, we have simply first check if dollar of res dot num underscore rows is greater than 0. It means if the number of rows which were fetched from the database is greater than 0, then we will display the data on the screen. So we have to make table here. What we will do, we will simply make a table and it will be align equal to center Now echo, this was we will make a tr and then td, and in this td, first td we will display id. Now we will copy this td and paste it here, id, name, and id, name, email, phone, and then username. Let's remove this one, we don't want to display password here, and then close this tr. Now let us see it on the browser, what we have done so far. The number of rows are 2, id, name, email, phone, username. So let us give a space here. Now in order to, this was the first row, header row. Now we have to display data here. What we will do, we will use while loop here. Inside this while loop, what we will do, we will simply copy the data, copy the rows which are in this res variable into a variable array here as rows. Here dollar row is a, it will be a one-dimensional array. It will store multiple values. So we will use a while loop here, and we will copy each row from this res variable and display that row one by one. So if there are 2 rows, then first we will use while loop and it will run 2 times. So for the first time it will display the first row, and for the second time it will display the second row. So in this way we will display all the rows which are in this res variable. So now what we have to do, we have to create a variable here. We will name it as row. What we have to do, we have to do like this, object oriented syntax. Then what we have to simply write fetch underscore assoc, associative. It means we will fetch the data, which we will fetch the row from this result variable and store that row in this variable, reo variable. So in this way, this row variable will be a one-dimensional associative array. We have talked about this associative arrays in arrays topic, so I think you are getting it what I am doing here. Now we will echo each row here, tr, then tr starts, and then we will close the tr. Tr start, tr end. So what we will do, we will simply write everything inside these tags, and these tr start and tr end. So the first thing will be, we have to write this way, td td start td close. What we will do, we will simply write dot here and dollar of row, and we will give the name of this id. It is small id, and then dot. Now we will copy this and we will give it for name also, and similarly for phone also, phone, and we will copy this whole row. And paste it here. Actually second was for email and third was for phone, and the fourth one is for username. What we are doing simply here, we are creating a tr tag, and then inside this tr we are creating this tds. First td for id, second td for name, third td for email, and fourth td for this phone, and fifth td for username. In this way the data will be displayed on the screen. Now what we have to do, we have simply create a table end tag, but we have to write it echo so let us see why these red dots are here. Let us save this file. Syntax error, unexpected echo, online 13. Let me check this online 13, what has happened. Echo. Actually we have did a mistake here. We have written this while. We have to write while here. So now let's come to browser and see undefined index phone. Let us check. It's actually this phone. Now number of rows are 2, id, name, email, phone, and username. Now what we will do, we will simply inside this table we will write a border equal to 1 pixel. Now coming to the browser and refreshing this, you can see id, name, email, phone, and username. So in this way we can retrieve data from this database. So let me revise this. First I have included this file connect.php because in this connect.php I have made a connection with database. So now what I am doing, I am simply creating a query, making a query, SQL query, select star from register. So storing this query in this variable SQL query, then we have to execute this query. So I'm executing this query as using connection variable, con variable connection, and calling this function query function and giving this query as a parameter. Now this query will retrieve data from the database, and that data will be stored in this res variable. There will be multiple rows if the data is present inside database. Now what we have to do, I am checking here if the number of rows, how many number of rows has been retrieved from database. So I am displaying them on the screen. Now what I am doing, I am simply checking if the number of rows is greater than 0. Then I am making a table here to display data which I have retrieved from database. Then this is the way we display data on the screen. Row res fetch associative. In this way, what we can do, we can simply write fetch array here. You can see the same results here. When I change this from fetch associative to fetch array simply means a simple array, numeric array, indexed array, but fetch associative means an associative array. So in this way, we can fetch data from database and display it on the screen. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my channel Technophile. Thank you.